and or what is important to you?
What's important to me now is what you said, Val, is that we gotta developing young men. We all know that there's a crisis with young men. Prior to me becoming a therapist, licensed therapist, I worked in the juvenile system for years. So that's kind of how I got really pulled and see that these guys are, these young men are growing up without men around them. And I wanted to help change the stereotype that, every young man is because he got a ski mask on his face is not trying to hurt you or rob you. And that, he's willing to learn, he's doing well in school. He just don't want to be a basketball player. He wants to be a doctor. He wants to be a dentist. He wants to be a musician.
Hi, and welcome to another edition of King Crush Thursday, the series where we highlight and uplift Black men, because frankly, not too many people are doing it. My name is Val Gay, and I am super excited about this brother today. Let's see. He is a man who is mission-driven. He focuses on building up young men, particularly things from resilience and leadership skills to their emotional and mental health. And he's somebody I've known since I was a wee one. And so please welcome Mr. Jonathan Cameron. Hey, John.
Hey, Val, thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. Appreciate it. Like you said, we go way back.
Way back. Oh, so great. It's great that you are here. I'm so glad you are here because this conversation puts yet another wedge in the door of this very myopic and narrow view, if you will, of Black men across the world. Yeah. And we know that there are so many different types of Black men, and most of them are positive. Most of them are doing the best they can. Most of them are in their communities and doing those things. But if you only look at the media, you would think the opposite was true. And so we really want to highlight and change this narrative so that a young king who may or may not have positive Black male role models, like the young kings that you work with, they may or may not have positive Black male role models, could come to this repository, see these same questions answered by hundreds of successful and positive Black men, and hopefully find guidance there. And then for the rest of us who are neither male or even Black, for us to be able to go to this repository and have our minds and our ideas and even our stereotypes widened so that ultimately we all get to live in a just and more equitable society and where we can actually fulfill our God-given potential. And so I'm so glad you're here. And I'm going to get started with the first question. What does manhood mean to you?
Okay, I was struggling with that today. I said, but I'm going to tell you what mine. Like I wrote it down. Okay, and it's because it's part of my leadership book, so I had to add some stuff that I really think manhood is about. So, understanding, accepting responsibility, enduring hardship when needed, display integrity and character most of the time, as much as you can, respect and empathy to people who can't help you, develop leadership skills, to be open to being mentored, attempt to provide and protect when needed, and willing to grow and create a healthy climate.
I love that. That's awesome. Excellent. Thank you, John. So, John, who and or what is important to you?
Who?
Okay. Who or what?
Okay. Well, definitely my family is important to me. We go back from strong family ties, and strong parents and things like that. What's important to me now is what you said, Val, is that we gotta developing young men. We all know that there's a crisis with young men. Prior to me becoming a therapist, licensed therapist, I worked in the juvenile system for years. So that's kind of how I got really pulled and see that these guys are, these young men are growing up without men around them. And I wanted to help change the stereotype that, every young man is because he got a ski mask on his face is not trying to hurt you or rob you. And that, he's willing to learn, he's doing well in school. He just don't want to be a basketball player. He wants to be a doctor. He wants to be a dentist. He wants to be a musician. So I'm here just like you, just to kind of crush them stereotypes. And that's why, I created leadership development classes, gun intervention programs in the facilities to help, redirect and support the young men.
That's really great. That's awesome. Excellent. So, John, how do you want us to see you?
As my mom had on her tombstone, just let the work I've done speak for me. That's it. I ain't looking for no accolades. I don't need to be in the special rooms. I'm just a soldier, just trying to help and support these young guys.
Got it. Got it. And so this brings us to question 4, and thank you for that. What is your epic dream?
My epic dream is that all young men, especially men of color, being treated and looked at equally and given the opportunity to learn, even if they are not, let's say, black and white book smart, but just the opportunity to learn, provide, and be successful in this world. That would be the ultimate dream for me.
That's wonderful. That's awesome. Excellent. So you've been answering question 5 all along explicitly, but I'm going to ask you, or excuse me, implicitly, but I'm going to ask you explicitly. Mr. Jonathan Cameron, who are you?
Jonathan Cameron is a man of God, loving father. I am an advocate for youth, mental health, and I'm just for the people.
I love it, love it, love it. That's awesome. So here we are already at question 6, which is there anything that I should have asked you that I didn't, or you wanted me to ask you that I didn't? In other words, what did I miss?
Well, I am a 2-time author working on my 3rd book. My first book I wrote this last year called The 5 Pillars of Leadership for Black Boys Parent Guide, and it's a toolbox for parents that's raising boys. And what I did was I created 5 pillars. I actually started writing a couple. It took me 10 years to write the book. The book is only 70 pages, but it took me 10 years to write it. Just writer's block and just life getting away. But in the pillars that I created that I thought would really help and support parents to help them develop their sons to leadership would be education, character, goal setting. I have a whole specific how to break down SMART goals. I use that with my kids now, breaking them SMART goals down. Entrepreneurship and handling setbacks. Because things things are not going to go our way sometimes. We have to manage that. There's a 6th pillar that I'm waiting on, and it'll be done in June, and that's just focusing on mental health, how to support yourself and lead yourself in the leadership, even if they may struggle in mental health. Like I said, I've been my background is juvenile justice education, and then I backed out. I got retired, and I went into straight mental health and therapy for young men and boys. So I do believe the mental health thing is really big in our community, and it's untouched. And sometimes it's a word that we don't talk about, because when we grew up, it was like, just pray about it. And I believe pray about it, but also seek some help and support. So the 6th pillar is like a whole guideline. If there's certain things, the ADHD, autism, being on the spectrum, depression, how as parents can really support their kids and still help them grow, like they can still grow. Okay. So, and then my other book I did was an ebook, and that basically was about breaking the stigma, the guide to helping men understand depression and anxiety, because we can go a whole week on just men and anxiety and depression, how it looks different. So I did some research and just kind of, I do some workshops with men too.
That's awesome and was so needed. I'm so glad to hear this. I didn't even know all of this. This is awesome. This is so great. I'm so grateful. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you, Al.
Just the man that you have developed into. It is not an accident having known your parents. And yes,